Okay. Right. There's some sound. I'm getting feedback from Warner's computer. So please let me know if you can hear me now, because that would be great. But I'll start that intro again then. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're watching from, whatever you're doing. It's good to join us, have you guys join us. And what's the word? Don't know what I'm saying anymore. And what's the word? Every Sunday sessions. How long have we been doing this now? 2.5 years? 2.5 years?
A while, don't remember.
2.5 years in this kind of format.
And you know what? Stuff still goes wrong.
Stuff still goes wrong, yeah.
Stuff still goes wrong, but you just got to carry on.
We move.
Hey, we move.
We move, you know?
Yes.
That's life, innit? Goes wrong all the time on telly, and they're professionals.
Yeah,
So.
literally. Do you know what I mean? This is something I do notice now, because obviously we've been doing this for a bit. Like if something I'm watching is live, I watch and see like, oh, how does it go?
Yeah.
And then a bunch of times stuff goes wrong.
Yeah,
I'm
all
like,
the time.
I'm like, oh, that's fine then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You don't have to be too much on yourself.
Yeah. Well, if you are here, guys, obviously I said comment and like and all that, but if you could, share the stream, also give us a review if you're listening later on different kind of platforms. It's always good, obviously, because it helps us. Interaction and engagement obviously helps it get it out there, but as well as that,
very true. We
are interested, especially if you're leaving a review, to hear what you have to say. I remember one time we did a topic, can't remember what it was, but then someone left on YouTube, somebody left like a comment and like disagreeing. We had a little back and forth. We had a nice little chat. It was friendly.
Oh, yeah.
It was friendly, but it was interesting to hear people's points of view, and that's what we're all about here.
It's true.
So leave us a review. Let us know what you think. If you agree, disagree, doesn't matter. That's what we're all here for, to chat things through. That's why we do this.
Exactly. And someone will come. We'll all get closer to the truth. Do you know what I mean? Like closer to what God's intention is for whatever.
That's very true. That's very deep as well, that, mate. Profound. We're only 3 minutes in.
That's how
3 minutes in. So anyway, we'll start how we always do.
Oh, how we always do.
Warner, tell the people, how was your week out of 10? What happened? Or 2 weeks, because we went away last week, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
So you can include last week as well.
I would say the last 2 weeks has been, I would say like a 7.5.
Okay.
They've been good overall. I don't remember anything crazy specific that's happened.
Yeah.
We did get a new sofa. Which
nice.
is like it's slightly smaller than a normal 2-seater one. I think they're called like cuddler sofas or like couple sofas.
Yeah.
But it's like enough so that you can fit 2 people.
Right. Yeah.
But the whole point is like it's supposed to be relatively snug.
Right.
So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we got that. That's all I can remember, to be honest. So,
that's a decent little highlight,
It's been good overall. Oh, I just remembered something.
Whoa!
I got accepted into my master's that I applied
for. So
I am now a student again. Academia, unfortunately, has grabbed me by the collar and pulled me back in.
Yeah.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. So I'm starting September.
Yeah. Nice.
And the plan really is to just bulldoze through it. So I'm doing it part-time, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then my hope is that after that, I'll be able to go straight into the PhD and do that and just finish it. Because in my head, I would rather get into that zone and just stay in it and be finished.
Makes sense.
Do you know what I mean? Because then if you go worst case scenario, it takes me 10 years to finish that plan.
Yeah.
By the time I'm like 38, I'll have a PhD, and then I'll be able to do whatever other stuff I want. I think that's pretty good.
That's a good solid plan.
So that's the plan. Very excited. Student finance is sorted.
Nice.
I think I have to sort out some other stuff to confirm payments, but it's basically all done, which is chilling. Do you know what I mean? So.
Nice. I see a comment from Ezekiel saying, "I know who is next into academia." And I know he's been trying to rope me in for ages.
Oh.
And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see once you're done, then I'll see. I've got 2 years.
I'll give you my review and then you can make up your mind.
Give you a 5-star review. See what you're thinking. Any comments, then I'll decide from there. But that's good, though. That's solid. Good job.
That's what's happened to me. So what about you, mate? How was your How's your 2-week
My 2 weeks.
period been?
It's been busy. Very busy. Oh, Angela's here. Angela is. I was literally about to mention this. Angela is obviously Anna's mum.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there last week. That's why we didn't have the podcast, because I was
Nice.
over there last weekend
With the fam to
with
be?
the family. And it was nice. It was just a nice week because it was just chill.
Oh, good.
It was just like there was not really much of an agenda. There wasn't much of like we're going to do this, do this, do this. It was kind of very much like not very structured or anything like that. It was kind of like we've got a few things dotted in here, there, but it's mostly just going to be relaxing. So that was great. They whipped out some old DVDs of like,
Ooh.
do you know what I mean? Like,
go on then. What did you go through?
we went through some DVDs of like, you know, when like Anna's dancing around the house at like 7 years old.
Oh, please,
Yeah.
please. Angela, please can you find as much of that
Yeah.
so we can even have it as a loop during
Exactly,
the
yeah.
wedding, do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just all of that material needs to be there.
It was great. It was great content. Because I remember Anna mentioning it. And she's like, oh, yeah, it got me dancing on film. She's like, but you'll never see it. I'm going to burn the DVDs, burn the videos.
First
whatever.
of all,
I was like,
Anna,
nah.
it's quite tough to burn a DVD. So that's
It's not good for the environment.
The greatest plan of destroying it. Secondly, you know, it's always going to happen. You just got to accept it at this point that you're going to have some cute stuff at your wedding.
Yeah.
But there's also going to be some embarrassing stuff that we're going to laugh at. And that's part of what it's for.
That's life, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
That's life. And you know, there's loads of photos of me with a bowl cut.
Oh, yeah.
That are awful.
There's a lot of material on you.
That is terrible.
Yeah.
And so...
Your mum's 100% been like, I can't wait to use this.
Thing is, though, I don't even mind it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, I didn't give myself that haircut. So it's all good.
If you're a parent, right, I just had this random thought, so now I'm curious because I might do it. Do you, like, take weird photos of your kids for the purpose of, like, when they're going through something special or getting married or whatever, or they meet their significant other, I'm going to have, like, funny pictures to show them?
Yeah.
Because I would want to have funny pictures of our kids to be...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, specifically, like, I would literally put them in a costume and be like, this is so that on your wedding day, I've got a plethora of stuff that, like, even if you get rid of the 20 most embarrassing ones, the other ones are still so embarrassing.
Angela just put absolutely. So
oh, come on!
I'm guessing that's the thing.
Hey, that's brilliant.
I'm guessing that's the thing.
Yeah, that's good.
That's solid. I mean, to be honest with you, like, I don't think there's that many photos or videos, bad ones of me. I think the thing, mum tells everyone I can dance, and I just can't dance.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see.
I used to like the Step Up movies back in the day, like because
there's got to be a video somewhere of Eamon dancing to Step Up. Someone please find it.
I think there is one for my granddad's 60th birthday. We like the whole family did like a big video or whatever, and I'm pretty sure in that there's a video of me and all the siblings dancing in the living room to the Tweenies. Do you remember the Tweenies?
Tweenies, wow.
Tweenies classics. I'm but I'm like 6, so it don't count. Don't count.
No, it all counts. What do you mean?
It doesn't count. No, because I'm not like 17, you know, body popping or whatever else.
No. Even if there's a video of you 3 years old, that counts.
She's just put, yes, he can. He's an amazing dancer. No, I'm not, Mum. Stop telling everyone.
Gas him up.
I'm just not.
No, gas him up.
I'm terrible.
Do you know what? We're going to make a dance circle.
Oh, no.
For you. Yeah.
What, the wedding?
Yeah. You know exactly what a dance circle is.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do that.
Yeah, well, you don't have a choice because we're just going to make a circle around you.
I'll shut the whole thing down. I'm like, guys,
with your dance
wedding's
moves.
up. Wedding's over.
Shut it down with your dance moves. Hey, you can get training now. You've got, how long is it? 5 months?
We are debating if we want to do the first dance or not, to be honest.
Right. What do you mean?
If we want to do the first dance or not. That we're debating it.
Oh, fair play.
We're debating it because, you know, I'm not much of a dancer. Obviously, Anna's a great dancer, you know. I've seen the moves, tap dancing,
actually?
ballet.
Is she actually?
Yeah, she's all ballet, tap dancing.
Are you serious? I did not know this.
Yeah.
Days.
I don't know what else she does, but I think that's like the...
You're 100% doing it then. You're 100% doing it.
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I will pay for you to have ballet lessons so you and Anna can do the team.
No, because I was thinking like maybe like do something spicy. Like, do you know you see on Strictly, one of those kind of ones?
Oh, you want to do you could
like
do
one
that.
of the
You have
proper
enough
ones.
time,
Yeah. I thought
there's a big market on that where you pay for the two of you to
like a
learn
salsa
dance
dancing or something.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
that'd
mean?
be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should do that.
We'll see.
Well, yeah, you go.
It'll be a big surprise, I guess, for the wedding. You'll
I
see.
guess we'll have to find out.
Maybe we're already doing lessons.
True.
Who knows?
True. Maybe you're the one teaching Anna ballet. I don't know.
Who knows?
You might be a ballet champion.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Manchester's ballet champion 2007.
We've got a vote for tango here.
Wow.
If you have any suggestions of what type of dancing they could do,
yeah, let me know.
Do like you could throw in some Irish dancing in there as well.
Yeah, do some Dutch clog dancing.
Some Dutch stuff. I don't know what Dutch dancing looks like.
Get some clogs on and tap about.
Get some clogs on. Yeah, that'll be the most.
That'll be entertaining.
It'll be a very interesting first dance. Do you know what I mean? Very eclectic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
But I'm a mix. I'm a good mix of different stuff.
That's true.
So I'll teach you the robot dance, 80s stuff. I didn't even know you could do the robot dance. So
the robot dance is iconic.
No, Peter Crouch. Remember Peter Crouch in the World Cup?
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. Exactly. There's some great dance moves from back in the day.
There's some great suggestions in there.
They are. Yeah, I think you should do all of them.
In one go, in one routine.
Yeah. Like do a 5-minute choreography.
Yeah.
And like do almost like a wedding through the ages. Ooh, that's kind of cool idea, isn't it? Like wedding through the ages. Do like a 20s one.
I need some props and stuff like that then.
Yeah. We'll get you like wigs and all that.
Yeah.
This is getting pretty extravagant now.
This is getting extravagant and a bit more expensive.
Considering you started this part with we're debating having a first dance, and we've now moved to a 5-minute medley of first dance through the ages. That's pretty significant.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I guess it'll all be a big surprise for all those who are who are going to be attending.
You will.
The strict guest list, the VIPs.
Oh,
if you're not on there,
if you're just an IP, sorry,
you ain't there.
So sorry.
So we'll see. We've got a couple of months, but anyway,
bags of time.
We'll dive straight in to what we're here for.
Ooh, what we're here for.
And obviously, as you guys will know, we've been looking at Jesus stuff. I mean, I guess
spoilers.
That's like the whole podcast.
The Christian podcast has been talking about Jesus.
And weird story. I was talking to someone on LinkedIn the other day, right? Just some random person on LinkedIn. And like,
is this for recruiting or just?
Yeah, they basically like create recruitment software. So they're not a Christian or anything. I don't know why I was talking to them. Anyway, I was chatting to them, and then they were like, "What's the podcast?" And I was like, "Jesus." And they're really keen about hearing about my podcast until I said Jesus. And then they were like, "I don't think it's quite for me, but I'll send it to my friend who might be interested."
What's the name?
Huh?
What's the name
of the person?
Yeah,
I'm not going to bait people out.
Oh, right. Because I think someone liked it this week. So.
Oh, did they?
It might have been them or it might have been someone else. I don't know.
I don't know who that was, but anyway, I'll see. I'll confirm later on. But anyway, we'll dive straight in because obviously we're talking about Jesus.
Yeah, we are.
And last week we looked at, or not last week, the week before, looked at Jesus's friend. That was it, wasn't it?
Yes.
Jesus' friend did a great job. We looked at Jesus' Savior, Jesus' Lord. I'm trying to think what else we've looked at. Is that it?
I think those.
That's it. So I thought today we look at Jesus the Shepherd.
Nice.
What does it mean that Jesus is the shepherd?
Jesus the Welshman.
Well, don't say that in front of a Welsh person. They'll latch onto that forever. But yeah, Jesus the shepherd. And there's like loads of different routes you can go down with this, I feel.
There are.
Because the imagery of the shepherd and the sheep is like full in the Bible. Like, there's so much of this like imagery of like a shepherd and his sheep. And obviously in John chapter 10, is it? Where he says, I'm the great shepherd and all this kind of stuff. You are my sheep. Those who sort of know me follow my voice, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I was going to dive in there, and I thought, actually, let's not dive in there. And then in Ezekiel, there's a little passage about like the Lord being Israel's shepherd, and obviously that links into all these kind of stuff. I was like, let's not go there. And I thought, you know what? Let's just look at Psalm 23.
All right,
because Psalm 23, I think, is one of those passages that pretty much every Christian knows.
Yeah.
It's like Christian 101. It's like first day, you're a Christian. This is the kind of stuff you need to learn.
Someone's most likely read this to you. Isn't it?
100%. This is
some point.
like, I can guarantee you pretty much, I don't think you would probably need to, I don't think you'd probably need to even read it or go into your Bible to order to even get like half of what it says here. So I thought we'd dive into this.
I think it's pretty much pop culture as well at this point, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, like people know this part of the scripture, even though they're not Christians, because it's got a bunch of stuff in there that's now like famous stuff to say. Like, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, like people know that it's been in songs. You know what I mean? It's been in
Gangster's Paradise. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Classic. So we'll read it and we'll kind of go through it bit by bit, talking about it, what it all looks like, what it all means. So, the Lord is my shepherd.
Wow, that has come up massive on there.
It has come up massive. This is going to be like
someone needed to see that big. Do you know what I mean?
It's going to be like a mismatch, honestly. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right path for his name's sake. And even though I walk through the darkest valley, I'll fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love or mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I mean, it is like, I think like some of this stuff can almost become like a bit of a cliche. So like a Christian, you know, like you see like John 3:16.
Yeah.
For God to love the world, he gives one. It kind of just becomes like a Christian phrase, like because some mentioned so much.
Yeah.
You kind of become numb to what it actually is, to what it's actually saying.
Yeah.
I feel like this is kind of one of those passages. You know what I mean? Like you've heard it so many times, you can almost become numb to it.
Yeah.
And become so hard to be like, no, it's my shepherd. No. You just have to recite it.
A bit like the Lord's Prayer in it.
Exactly, yeah.
No.
But when you truly unpack it line by line, you really start to see like different aspects of kind of what it all means. So obviously, I think that this is all, it starts with the Lord is my shepherd. And like this is all kind of about the Lord's leadership. A shepherd and the shepherd leads the sheep.
Yeah.
The sheep don't need to lead the shepherd because they're sheep. Pretty simple. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is not going to be like really, really complicated stuff, guys. I'm going to keep it really, really simple. But it says that the Lord is my shepherd. And I think that for me, I like that already, that there's a possession that's put on it, that the Lord is my shepherd.
Yeah.
Not the Lord is the shepherd or a shepherd or our shepherd, even though he is our shepherd. But he's my shepherd. So ultimately, when you're reading the rest of this, you're looking at this from the place of like, he's your shepherd, and this is talking to you and about you and whatever else, rather than taking yourself outside of it and going, the Lord is a shepherd.
Yeah.
And
the Lord is someone's shepherd.
Yeah. It's someone else's shepherd. He's Ezekiel's shepherd because he's so blessed. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. It's not like that. There's this sense of like ownership that the Lord is my shepherd.
Yeah.
Like, I think automatically, before you even dive into anything else, like that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And what I love about it is like, you need to be at a place where you can identify your shepherd. Do you know what I mean? Like that's part of the relationship between a shepherd and the sheep. Is that the sheep are aware that out of all the humans here, that one is my shepherd.
Yeah.
So similarly for us, like we should be able to identify.
Yeah.
Like when we see Jesus, we should be able to look at him and say, that person above all other things.
Yeah.
Is the shepherding influence over my life.
Yeah.
Rather than being like, is that my shepherd? No. Is that my shepherd?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll let you shepherd me for like this week and then see how it goes. Do you know what I mean? I'm shepherd dating at the moment.
Shepherd dating.
Yeah. But it's like, no, the Lord actually is my shepherd. And like you could, that on its own is a bunch of stuff because you're identifying with, anyway, we'll go on to some of the other stuff, but I think that's really cool.
And that's the thing, it's like, it's this singular, the Lord is my shepherd, that's it. Not the Lord is one of my shepherds or anything. It's just this singular voice, this singular person. I like what you're saying, out of everything and anyone. And, you know, he even says it in John when he talks about this, he says, my sheep, they know my voice and they follow me. That it's like what you're saying, that they're, out of every single person, that these sheep distinguish something about this shepherd, about this person.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's what we see when we start. Before we go into anything else, is the Lord is my shepherd. It's this sense of ownership. And ultimately, as you kind of see the next line, and we have to kind of move a bit quickly with this because we're going to be here all night, because we could have spent the whole night just on these, just one line each.
Do it.
But ultimately, the Lord is my shepherd, and like, I don't know how to word it, like maybe like a byproduct or like a result of the Lord being your shepherd is that.
That's a good way to say that.
Is a result of the Lord being your shepherd is that you lack nothing.
Yeah.
That there's a lack of wanting. Some say, I shall not want.
That's kind of what God spoke to us this morning in Sunday.
Yeah.
Meeting, isn't it?
And it's this part of what we've been doing here when we've been talking about this Jesus stuff is kind of looking at Jesus is enough.
Yeah.
And here's why he's enough, because he's Savior, because he's this, that, and the other. But a result of the Lord being your shepherd is that you are content.
Mm-hmm.
You're content. And I think that's such a really strange concept to think about in today's modern 21st century world.
Yeah.
Everything we do is so fast. It's quick. Let's make money. Let's get results. Let's do this. KPIs, whatever else, blah, blah, blah. It's so quick. And so like, all right, you've reached this goal. Let's get to the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. That content isn't really a word. It's not really a thing. And people might say they're content, but really they're not. And sometimes I just like to think, if I was fully 100% content, what would my life like? Just for like an hour, like so, like just everything, nothing, internal, external, whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, what would that look like, and how would I feel about that? But that's a result of the Lord being your shepherd, is that there is a lack of wanting, that you're content with just Him.
Yeah.
But if you had nothing else in this world, that just having Him is enough.
Yeah.
And I think that's just such a powerful reality of what it means when the Lord is your shepherd. Go on, Juan, say something about it. I bet you've got
what
some.
I like is like, if you think of what sheep do, like what sheep do all day. Sheep just eat
grass
all day. And like the part of the reason why they don't have to lack, they lack nothing. Mm-hmm. Part of the reason we lack nothing is because it's the shepherd's role to take the sheep to where there's food.
Yeah.
It's not the sheep's job to be like,
mm-hmm.
hey, this grass is starting to get a bit patchy now.
A bit naff.
This field, hey, this once was green.
Yeah.
Now it's brown, and I think, guys, we need to get together. Let's send a few people out.
Yeah.
Send a few of the younger ones out. Do you know what I mean? Like, a sheep just they're led where they're led.
Yeah.
They eat where they eat.
Mm-hmm.
And then the shepherd leads them somewhere else, and they're not focused at all on the things that are the shepherd's job.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes we focus, like, part of human nature, because of the whole eating of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, is that humanity now becomes its own God. Mm-hmm. You become your own shepherd.
Yeah.
Which means you're handling things which you're not actually supposed to handle.
Yeah.
So the shepherd is supposed to handle that. And I think that's where a lot of like anxiety and mental health issues come from, which aren't like chemical imbalances and stuff like that. Because obviously that's the thing. Is when we're putting ourselves in a position of the shepherd.
Yeah, it's good.
So even the fact that Jesus is like, don't worry about where you're going to get clothes from, or where your next meal is going to be. Like that's a pretty. That's like he's effectively saying, you shouldn't worry about whether you're about to be in the poverty line.
Yeah.
Like, if your money is so tight that you don't have food, Jesus is effectively saying, you don't need, even if you're at that point, you don't need to worry because I'm going to take care of you. That, if you say that to someone, as like, here's a piece of advice, you're a bit skint, but don't worry about it. Like, it sounds a bit insensitive. A bit, but what he's saying is, I have so much resource that if you only focus on me, I'll sort out the rest.
Yeah.
And all you need to focus on is the stuff that I'm leading you to, and trust that where I lead you is going to be good. Now, obviously, what is important is that you follow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I think we'll talk about lost sheep at some other points. But if a sheep goes somewhere it's not supposed to, because it's not trusting the leading of the shepherd, that's when you can get yourself in danger. But if we follow the leading of the shepherd and trust that he's got his perspective, because the shepherd's perspective, I'm going all over the shop here, but the shepherd's perspective is completely different to the sheep.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the sheep is only going to see like yay high. If you're on the podcast, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about yay high. But I don't know how tall is a sheep? Like,
I don't know, a couple of
like barely 2 feet, maybe.
Yeah, 2-3 foot.
That.
Yeah.
The shepherd's average height nowadays is somewhere about 5'11", 6 foot.
Yeah.
So if you just think about that ideologically, like the shepherd's perspective is so much greater. So a sheep may look at a bush and think, oh my gosh, like I'm going to a bush.
Yeah.
Like there's no food on this bush. What am I going to do? All I can see is this bush and then everything else around me, like I've been there before.
Yeah.
Whereas the shepherd may just see a bunch of different fields. And that bush is actually quite small.
Yeah.
And the shepherd may be like, hey, sheep, I'm trying to take you this way. But the sheep gets scared because it's going to the bush. Anyway, my point is that the shepherd's perspective is greater than our own. And so part of the challenge for us is trusting that Jesus is a shepherd, and he's, as he calls himself, he's a great shepherd. He's not just like the average one. He's the best of the best. So where he leads is going to be beneficial for us.
Yeah.
And whatever stuff we need where he leads, he'll make sure the resource is there.
Yeah.
And I like that because I feel like God is always like, I'm really trying to simplify your life. And then we really overcomplicate it.
100%.
But I really feel like this is one of those things, one of those pictures of Jesus being like, life with me is actually simple. If you just do the thing that I'm leading you to do, then the resource that you need for whatever it is you need to do will be there.
Yeah. That's really good, man.
That's what I get from I lack nothing.
And like, so we start to see like how this is like, obviously the whole thing here is a revelation of the Lord's leadership. And obviously we start to see that there is a certain possession that takes place, a relationship, whatever. And then that we lack nothing because we don't need to, because he's got things under control. He sees, as you say, sees things from a different perspective. And you see the next thing says, he makes me lie down in green pastures.
Yes, sir.
And like this, for me, I'm just like, oh, this is nice. He makes me lie. Like, what do you do? Like, really, when you think about it, what do you do when you lie down? You're chilling, you're resting. You're not really doing anything. You're not like doing anything like really strenuous. You're not working. You're resting. And he brings you into this green pasture to rest, and just to rest with him, knowing that he's in control, knowing that he, as you were saying earlier, sees that different perspective. And I think that's such a powerful and an amazing reality of what it means that the Lord is my shepherd. Because often we can try and get busy for God. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, just having that posture of rest where the Lord's leading you to a place like just chill, just hang fire, just don't do anything, you know. And I think that's something for me. That's been challenging me recently, is because I've just been working like a madman. I get up at 5 to get to work, go and train at 6 to get to work, and then it's like whatever, getting back, and usually I'm going straight to a meeting here at church or whatever else, and like, it's just one thing to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. And it can be so busy and so tiring and so long that sometimes those just like, just chill, just rest, man. So like tomorrow I've got to book the day off just to chill.
Yeah.
And like rest is so important. And part of the Lord's leadership is actually leading you into rest.
Yeah.
And leading you into a place where you can just relax with him, knowing that he's in control, knowing that he's got things sorted, knowing that he sees things from a different perspective, etc., etc., etc. But it just it puts you in this position that he leads you and makes you lie down. You see that? It makes me lie down in green pastures, not asks me or like. But he's literally saying, just sit down, chill, shut up, just enjoy the green pasture, man. It's good, man.
Yeah, and what I like about that as well, like you're saying, like he makes you so that, because I think sometimes even though obviously it's a relationship, friendship, it's also a lordship.
Yeah.
So there's an authoritative dynamic in our relationship where God will make us do stuff, and especially like if we're if we're going so for example, being busy, if we're going so hard, that we're just like, we're always busy, we have no time for anything, like God will make you rest. Like a situation will come into your life that will force you to rest. Now, it's better to have God make you rest than to have a situation force you to rest.
100%.
Because the difference here is in the quality of the rest.
Yeah, that's good.
So he's making you lie down, true, but he's found a green pasture for you to lie down, which to me means that the rest in God is as you're saying, it's beneficial. But even the environment of his rest is good. Like it's luscious. Like when you rest, when he wants you to rest, there's life. Yeah. Because it's green. Do you know what I mean? Like there's fertile stuff.
Yeah, it's good.
Things can grow in that rest, in that place of rest, wherever that pasture is. And I think it is important in our day and age because
100%.
Things are only going to get more busy as technology increases.
Yeah.
I think I read, I can't remember. I learned this really cool fact, and now it's just gone out the top of my head. It was something about swords, like the leap between steel swords and iron swords was like double as fast as something else anyway.
Right.
Basically, it's the fact that technology increases exponentially.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, we got the internet over 30 years. Yeah. So the next thing we get is going to be 30 years. Like it because technology is always developing. Yeah. It develops quicker than that, which means that there's going to be, like, this is the least amount our attention is going to be required, is basically what I'm trying to say. Even though, like, you know what I mean, phone, laptop, even right now, you probably have thoughts of what you just watched or what you're going to watch, or you're planning a holiday or summer or whatever it is, or you're thinking about work. This time in history is going to be the least stimulated time compared to the rest of what we're going to go through. Because, you know what I mean? Going to have AR, VR, going to have
all the R's.
A bunch of different stuff where technology and reality are going to blend more and more. So it's going to be harder and harder to disconnect from all that stuff. And this is so critical, especially we're in a society that doesn't honor the Sabbath in the way that God intended, because his whole plan was like, even the land, you would let the land rest. And part of the issue that we have with the resources in the world is that we've never given the land a chance to rest since, like, you know, industrial blah blah blah. So even in the way that we steward the world, God intended that the land should rest as well as us. Like, rest is just a part of it. So his rest is a good thing. And if he might be asking you to rest, it doesn't mean that you'll be unproductive.
Yeah, it's good. That's right.
Because you're in a green pasture. Yeah. So whatever your rest looks like, there'll be growth and fruit from it. Yeah. And you'll be refreshed. Because there's nutrients in the pasture. Do you know what I mean? There's good stuff for you.
Yeah, it's good. I think I saw, I was reading Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. Good book. Oh, yeah. Good book. I know
Road to Minimalism.
I know. And I know Angela's reading it right now. And
any minimalists out there, give me a whoop in the comments. I don't know. Let me know how it's going, because I did have a think about it, and I was like, nah.
Just accumulate too
much. It does work for some people. That works for them. So.
But he was talking about this because he's big on like rest and Sabbath and everything like this. And he mentioned a study that was done from like the 1950s or something. And it was a study that talked to all different leaders, like CEOs and stuff like that of big companies and whatever. And they said, like, what do you think about the way work's going to be in 50 years' time? And basically all these, like a stupid amount of these employers, like 60, 70, 80, whatever percent of employers said that as technology increases, that the workday will become less and less and become shorter and shorter because we can get the same amount of work done in less time because technology is aiding us. Whereas in reality, another study was done like 50, 60 years later and actually found that with the advancement of technology, we're actually doing way, way, way more than what we used to be. Because as obviously technology increases, you can do more in a smaller amount of time. So you may as well just increase the KPIs.
There's new jobs that are made,
exactly.
new fields, all this jobs.
and like the world is getting busier and busier and busier. Like you go on TikTok now, and half the stuff you see is like people saying, "Do your job Monday to Friday, but on the weekend you better be hustling hard, side hustles,
and
accumulating wealth, study in the night, get married, go on holiday. Like just do everything, fill every nook and cranny of your day, sleep
and
1 hour."
Very much. Part of it is very much like if you don't do that, you're gonna be living life at a deficit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, which in some cases is the idea behind it is positive because they're basically saying if you want something, because you have time, you have the opportunity to do it. But it completely negates all of negates a lot of principles that God brings, because God does also say the lazy sluggard has nothing, the one who works diligently will be wealthy. So God has built that into the world, that if you work hard you'll be able to generate income for yourself. But he also told us to rest. So when we're working like 80, 90 hours a week, which some people do, sometimes more than that, that is a detriment to our actual being. And at some point, anyone who works that way, at some point will have their time of rest. Their time of rest could be an early death. It could be an illness. It could be burnout. It could be like forced retirement because you got so busy that you started flagging, you made bad decisions, like whatever it is. And like rest is gonna find you. It just depends. Are you gonna have your rest in the green pasture? Or is your rest gonna be, do you know what I mean, like the elephant graveyard in The Lion King? Like, this is not a nice place to be. You got smoke and hyenas coming after you.
So it's vital. Like we're 38 minutes in and we're 2 verses in. We've done 2 verses. So this
one. I thought that we've been going through this a bit fast.
We have been going fast. We're on rapid. But this is what I'm trying to say when I talk about like some passages can just become so numb. When you truly just go by line, bit by bit, you start to really. There's a lot of punches. And
I think this is, especially now. But I don't know what it's like if anyone is watching from out of the UK. But in the UK, we're going through a pretty rough economic patch right now. I don't really know of many worse times, especially when I've been really cognizant of it. This is like just everything's going up basically. It's mental. And they're telling us that stuff is going to continue to go up. And they're hoping it will stop sometime next year. No one knows. Likelihood is it might not. So there's a lot of worry about cost of living, about petrol's like double the price it used to be, and there's a lot of worry and anxiety in our nation of, will people have enough to eat? Will people have enough to live? Will people have enough to heat their home and have food on the table? And I don't know how people who aren't Christians live. Because for me to be able to see all this stuff in the news, like almost every day is a new news story of how terrible like our economy is going. Like just last week, something came out about how we've got all this stuff going, we've got people striking, and in the middle of it, Boris is like, "Hey, I'd really love a £150,000 tree house." And he the only reason he was persuaded out of it is because the police came and said, "Hey, this is kind of a security risk." Other than that, he might have done it. To see all of that and be able to give that burden to the shepherd and say, it's good. You know what? Regardless of this, you're the person who's gonna guide me. You're the one who provides for me. So even in this, what looks like a bad pasture, I know that you'll lead me where provision is, or you'll bring my provision. Like I don't know how people who don't know Jesus do it. Maybe drugs and alcohol or whatever. I don't know, but I don't know how you genuinely. I know what you mean. Cope, you know what I mean?
It's mental, and I think this is probably going to have to be, like Marilyn said, a 2-parter because we're barely through this. So we'll try and get through maybe like 1-2 more verses, and then because there is a lot to unpack. But the next bit is
we've not even gotten to water yet.
It's mental. He leads me beside quiet waters. and he refreshes my soul.
Mm.
Like
It's also rest related, isn't it?
I feel like it is also rest related. I feel like I like the waters bit because it's not like choppy waters or because like when you see water, it's never still. It's always a bit.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're not going white water rafting.
I don't know how I can describe that to anyone who's not like Joe.
It's like ripples.
Yeah, little ripples and that. Little ripples and that.
Yeah.
It's never just silent. It's never just quiet. You always hear a little bit of a something, a little bit of like a rustling or whatever you describe that. But he leads me beside these quiet waters, and then refreshes your soul. And like, I just find this mad. And like, I think that I always think when I think about this, I always think about Matthew chapter 11, where it says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, you'll find rest." That word "rest" can also be translated to "refreshed," and it's the fact that the refreshment doesn't come just from like just kicking your feet up. Oh my Lord, that scared me. It's a fly was in my cup. It scared me. I was like, it's a bang. It's like a spider or something. But the refreshment doesn't come from you just kind of chilling out or having a good night kip, or having a good hearty meal or something like that. It comes from him offering himself to you.
That's good, mate.
By saying, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, you'll find refreshment, or you'll find rest for your souls. It's the fact that he's taken something off you and giving you something back. And part of the Lord being your shepherd and the whole process of lacking nothing, of being and making you lie down in green pastures, making you he leads you beside quiet waters, and this refreshment is like him. He's offering himself to you. He's not just saying, right, you guys just hang around there. It's a bit quiet now. The grass looks all right. I'm just going to go up here and just watch a bit of telly or watch the footy or something. Do you know what I mean? A bit detached. That he's offering himself, and he's like, I'm going to take a burden off. Don't worry about that. Is that what you were saying earlier when you're talking about, like, he says, don't worry about the clothes on your back. Like that's another thing coming out.
Yeah.
Especially in today's day and age with everything, as you said, everything's going up, skyrocketing. He's like, he's taking that off and saying, don't worry about it. Just chill. Just relax, because I'm going to give you a rest. I'm going to give you a refreshment.
Relax.
It's unbelievable. Come on, give us some wisdom.
What has just hit me about this is that relaxing and rest are two different things.
Yeah.
Because as you've said, he's told us that he's the one who refreshes our soul, which means that your soul can be weary. You can have a tired, exhausted soul, and still be. Do you know what I mean? The outside, you're doing all the things you normally do. You're at work, you're smashing it, but your soul, like within yourself, you're absolutely exhausted.
Yeah.
And it's possible to relax while you have a weary soul and leave that time of relaxation with still a weary soul. Yeah. Which is like, it's kind of scary, because that's what, do you know what I mean? If someone feels like, my soul is weary, what we would generally advise is, hey, take time out. Yeah. Just relax, do some hobbies, find things you find joy in. That's not actually the answer. Yeah. Like he says, he will refresh your soul.
Yeah, come to me.
Yeah, so the answer actually is that if we feel like our soul doesn't have the freshness it should, we actually need to go to Jesus. Yeah. And oftentimes when we feel that way, that's when we least want to go to Jesus. Yeah. Because we're like, I need to do all this relaxing stuff to refresh my soul. Do you know what I mean? Like, I need to go and eat some ice cream. Yeah. I need to go and, get a face mask. Yeah. I need to have a bath. I need to go for a run. I need to chill out with the boys. I need to do whatever. I need to play some games. I need to go to the cinema, which is like, it's all good stuff. And I like doing 89% of those things. But like, I think we can all admit, even if we can't admit it, we can admit it to ourselves, that when our soul is weary, doing all that stuff doesn't actually make you less weary. Yeah. Like, it makes you happy in the moment, and you may, even like a little bit afterwards, you might kind of feel like, oh, this is getting better. But at some point, that dopamine hit will subside, and you're still left with a weary soul. And so, like, for me, this is really encouraging, because the weary soul is just it's just a notification
Yeah,
to go and be with Jesus.
that's a good way of putting it.
Do you know what I mean?
like
Like
that.
that's
Yeah.
what it is. Like your phone flashes.
Yeah.
Weary soul. Do you know what I mean? Like low battery.
Yeah.
Spend time with Jesus. And like what I like about Quiet Waters is he takes you somewhere where the noise is removed.
Yeah, it's good.
So like whatever distractions there are, like, and I think that's part of why he says, close your door, go somewhere quiet, because there's an element of, like you're saying, isolation.
Yeah, it's good.
With him, so that your only focus can be him, in order for him to refresh your soul.
Yeah.
Because I think there's, if there's too much noise, we're not focused enough on the shepherd that we can't interact with him. Which I like. If you've tried to pray before, you know what you know. What I mean? Like the first 15, possibly 20, possibly half an hour, possibly all of your time, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. You might be thinking about something else, which is getting in the way of your communication with him. Which means that even though we may say that we've prayed, as in we've done our time in our whatever that time is, we may not have interacted with the shepherd. Yeah. And like that's a massive thing, because that means that we might go to him and not actually go to him, which means that we still don't leave refreshed. But his intention is that anytime we come to him, our soul leaves more refreshed than the time before that. So that's what I really like that. And this is part of why I also don't, anytime people are like, oh, the Bible's nonsense. Oh, the Bible is like an outdated thing. Yeah. It's like, this is cutting, like, honestly, the Bible is cutting edge.
100%.
Psychological, medical advice. Even the stuff that we've gone through, which we went through on the mind, the series we did on the mind, all that stuff which Dad taught on, about how to renew your mind, about what the heart means, about how you can reprogram your heart and your mind. Like that stuff people are talking about today at top tier psychological levels, about how people can control their thoughts, about how the way that you think and how you act on that. Like, we talked about which one you feed. Do you feed your spirit or your soul? That's what they're talking about that now, saying depending on what decisions you make actual neural links in your brain, so that your subconscious automatically goes to those things. And you can believe a lie because you have believed it for so long, not because it's true. Like all that stuff's in the Bible. Do you know what I mean?
It's
like,
mad.
So this isn't like nice airy fairy stuff. This is like, regardless of what time period, this will never be not the best piece of advice that you can get.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
I think that's good. I think that's something to emphasize, is that this isn't just, because often it can like stuff like this, and like John, like Philippians 4, it says, don't be anxious about anything, but instead pray about everything, and the peace of God. Like that can just become like a little like, oh yeah, just do this, just get on with that, and you'll be fine. But like there's actually really something in this, and there's something in that. Like
so much so that our actual biology is wired to respond to these principles that God has put in. And we're only just now realizing that, like if you speak positively over yourself, your brain will begin to. I listened to something which was like, if you're visualization, i.e. faith. That's what visualization is. It's using faith. Now you can do it without God, and it'll still work because it's a principle. But she was literally like, if you visualize going to the gym, and you actually, like, it don't have to be long, but you visualize you working out, you visualize how you feel, how that makes you feel, how that makes you feel about yourself. The way that your brain is wired, your brain will actually believe that you have worked out. Which means that you can, like, if you do that enough times, eventually you'll work out, because your brain is wired that it goes into your subconscious, that your brain likes working out. Your brain looks forward to that feeling, and it can even increase your ability to gain skills. So even in work, if you visualize, hey, I'm going to bring ideas in work, and you keep doing that, and you visualize yourself having an idea, sharing the idea, even if you're knocked down, sharing another idea, your brain actively begins to look for opportunities where it can exhibit that behavior.
Yeah.
And so even with this, like if we're stressed out and we decide that I'm going to go to Jesus for my rest, what that tells our brain is, resting with Jesus means that I leave feeling better, which means that the next time, if we do it again, that becomes reinforced and reinforced again.
Yeah.
And so like this is how to live life, basically.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
This is unreal. So looking at time wise, if we do one more, we'll be halfway.
Go on.
So we do like, this will be the last.
Hey. This is what we're here for.
Right.
We're here to talk about the Bible. If you're bored, you can come back to it tomorrow, but I'm not bored.
No, if you're bored,
so
you
we
can
finish.
Just stay because there's some good stuff in here. Right. Next one. He guides me along the right path for his name's sake.
Oh, I don't know if we can do this one justice, Hey, but let's give it a go.
Right, let's give it a bash.
We can always continue this next time, but there's a lot.
Listen.
This is effectively saying #kingdom.
I could. Yeah. This is. I'll try and be brief. No promises, but I'll try. But I think that this is. I like the placement of this.
Yeah.
I think the placement of this is actually significant.
Go on, mate. Go into it.
I don't think the
Go into it. Come on. This is getting me excited now. Come on. This is
I
good
don't
stuff.
think the placement, where this is placed in this whole passage is just thrown in there. I think it's really, really significant. And as we do part 2, we go through the rest of it, you'll see why it's significant. Even just looking at what we just looked at before. Great book, great book. That's a recommend from the podcast.
And it's small, so if
Tiny,
you don't like reading, it's titchy. You can get through it.
But
go on, mate.
The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. There's this contentment, that there's this posture of rest, this posture of refreshment, everything like this. So once you get to this point where you're lacking nothing, that you've got rest, you've been refreshed, that when he guides you along the right paths, you're not bothered about yourself.
Yeah.
That there is nothing about you that says that I want the glory, but ultimately you're just like, I will just follow wherever you want me to go for your name's sake rather than mine.
Yeah.
And like this is big, right? Because the world is trying to make a name for themselves. Everyone's trying to be famous. Everyone's going to Love Island to try and get, and get some deals on there so they can promote stuff.
15 minutes of fame.
Do you know what I mean? Everyone's trying to do that. But ultimately, the kingdom's so reversed because it's just like, the last shall be first.
Yeah.
That's the kind of attitude that it is. But he's guiding me along the right paths. And like, I think even just as we unpack the words, he's guiding. So if someone's guiding, they're in front. You're following them, which is obviously important. Then he's going on the right paths. And as you see later on, we see what the right path looks like. And it's not always airy, fairy, nice sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes it can be a bit
It's not always a pleasant path.
It's not always a pleasant path. But he guides on the right path for his name's sake. And so for me, that tells me that no matter what I do, no matter where I go, if he's leading me, no matter what the external environment looks like, no matter what happens, what people say, what people think, or it doesn't matter because ultimately be for his glory and his glory. And I may not see it. I may not understand it.
Yeah.
I may not even see it in my lifetime. But ultimately, I've just got to keep following his lead, knowing that no matter what happens, no matter what it is, that it's for his glory and his alone. And ultimately, that this is when we're kind of in this sold out mentality.
Yeah.
Joe, that it's not like, oh yeah, Lord, it's for your glory, but I also want a book deal on the side. That kind of mentality. It's just like, it's for his name's sake. That's it. That is it. I'm just 100% in, nothing else. And for us as people, us as believers, we need to become to this point where it's not about making a name for our church. All Nations Church Oldham. It's not about saying we're the best. Come here.
Eamon Maloney
Ministries. My uncle always asks me how my ministry's going, and I'm just like, I don't even know how to answer that question, mate. But it's not about my name or increasing my platform or my preaching opportunities or if I can get a book deal or not, if I can get on telly, one of those Christian TV channels, I don't know. But I'm just doing everything I can for his namesake and his namesake alone. That long after I die, if the Lord hasn't returned yet, you always got to throw that in there. Long after I die, that no matter what I did, no matter if I got famous, no matter if no one knew my name, that it's all just been for his namesake. and it's worked for his glory.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what, and just reading this encourages me to know that people who've gone before me are the reason why I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't know most of those people, I don't know their names. There's loads of people who've done loads of work in Oldham to see people saved, to see people
true.
transformed.
And, there was a massive revival here a few years ago, innit?
And like, I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And I've never met them. I've never, you know, they don't have books out, or they don't have like big podcasts or anything like that. They have nothing.
Yeah.
But yet they just followed what the Lord did for his namesake. And now I am here as a product of what they've done.
Yeah.
And they encouraged me that what I'm doing, so even in this podcast, that, you know, the Lord's the one who kind of brought this all on, and that's why we're all here. And ultimately, I may not see a lot of the fruit that's taking place.
Yeah.
But I'm just trusting that that he's being glorified throughout it.
Yeah.
And I think it just humbles you and really, really kind of just puts you down and just kind of go, just like, you're important. Obviously, we're all important. Let's get that out there. But like, I'm not trying to build up my personal brand with Jesus. Yeah. I've thrown Jesus in there. Yeah. But I'm just following his lead for his namesake, his glory. I'm going to stop talking because Tyler, you go on and talk to us.
What I like, there's a couple of things I like. Whether I'll go through both of them, we'll see. But I'll mention the one I like the most. Yeah, is that he leads us along the right paths. Yeah. Which means that it's possible to walk down the wrong paths for his sake. Yeah. Do you know? And I think I don't want to go too much into different things, but I think that Christians sometimes, for the sake of Jesus, will go down the wrong path. Yeah. That he's not guiding the church through. And this is like throughout history, throughout all of God's people. Yeah. Like God's people will do certain things for God. Yeah. That he's not leading them through. And God is always saying, I'm not fussed about the things that you do. I'm fussed about if you're following me. Yeah. So if you do a bunch of stuff that you think is for me, for my namesake, but I'm not guiding you there, it's irrelevant to me. And you've got all these terrifying verses in the New Testament where he says there's going to be people who prophesy, there's going to be people who heal, who see demons flee for my name. Do you know what I mean? Like they've seen things happen that if you, as you're saying, they would get book deals. They would be on the TV. They would get the podcast. They're doing all this stuff. They'd be on tours and they're doing all this stuff for his name. They're saying Jesus, Jesus, but he'll say to them, I never knew you. That's terrifying to me that you can be moving in what we would say is the purpose of God. Yeah. But that's not where he's guiding you. Yeah. And to me, this is like a positive. Like, I always find this in the Bible. It's always positively cautious or cautiously positive. I don't know. But there's that dynamic of it's good news. Yeah. That where you need to be cautious in the other side. Yeah. So you can go the right path if you follow him. Which that's the second part of what I like, is that this is all about your perspective and purpose and that. Yeah. But the path that you are walking down is all determined on what you're looking at. So as you said, he guides you, and whose purpose are you focused on? Yeah. So if you're only focused on, I need to do this for me, you're automatically on the wrong path. Automatically.
Sorry to break it to you guys.
Like, you might be on the right path for your namesake, but for Jesus' namesake, you're on the wrong path. Yeah. But you can also be on the wrong path for his namesake, because the only way that you'll be on the right path for his namesake is if he's guiding you. Yeah. And anyway, I like that, because again, it takes the pressure on while putting the pressure on. Yeah. It takes the pressure off while putting the pressure on. Yeah. Which I always find that in the Bible is God, the call of God means that there is you have no pressure. Yeah. And at the same time, you have pressure. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because if you take your eyes off him, you can very easily be on the right path and go wrong. Yeah. But at the same time, if you keep your eyes on him, then you'll be on the right path. Yeah. And you don't need to worry about, you don't need to get Waze out and be like, where are we going? It doesn't matter where you go. Like, for example, I'm on a 1-year contract, which is rolling. and they can decide when if they don't want me to. So effectively, the last 6 years, even before I was employed, though, God basically only would tell me what I'm doing up for the next year.
Yeah.
And that's effectively how I've been living life for the last 7 years. Now, what he said to me has been the same thing. So nothing's changed drastically. But I think that's just a practical example of him guiding the path.
Yeah.
And so I'm especially nowadays, I'm a lot more cognizant of, is the stuff we're doing the stuff that he wants us to do?
Yeah, it's good.
Is the path we're on the right path? Now we're fortunate in our church that we hear God. So God has spoken to us about which path he currently wants us to be on. Yeah. And I think we've been doing a tremendous job of making sure we're on that path. And so the challenge to me is to spread that across every area of my life. Yeah. Am I letting God guide me? Yeah. Or do I just have good ideas of like how can I bring the kingdom? Yeah. Whereas actually God already has his idea of how I should bring the kingdom. Yeah. So I should go to him. Do you know what I mean? That's what I really like about.
Yeah, and I think this reminds me a little bit of Hebrews 12. 12, yeah. It's just it's either end of Hebrews 11, start of Hebrews 12, that kind of area, where it says, run the race set before you, fixing your eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. Yeah. And that's just after it looks at obviously all the heroes of faith and whatever else. And I think this just reminds you of that is just like our calling and what we're called to do is just run the race that's set before us. Yeah. But it's to fix our eyes on Jesus. So obviously, if we have to if we're running a race, you can't look behind you. No. You can't look beside you. You're looking forward. You're looking ahead at where you're going. Yeah. And also, obviously, Jesus is in front. He's leading the way. He's telling you where to go and what to do. And ultimately, it humbles you because there's often times where you can go, oh, well, this seems like a great idea. This seems like a great plan, or this seems like a great opportunity, or whatever else. And they can all be in the name of the Lord, but is that what the Lord's doing? I remember Michael Koulianos, if you don't know Michael Koulianos, get to know Michael Koulianos. He's an absolute legend, right? I've been on him. I'm telling you something, right? No, I'm not going to say that. No, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say something. I'm not going to say it. But Michael Koulianos, get to know him. He's brilliant. You can just Google him. But he was saying that he gets asked to do big conferences all the time, like obviously because he's a legend. And he says that he just won't do every single one because he's like, Lord, where do you want me to go? Yeah. Like he knows that he could go to a conference, do an amazing job, see loads of things happen, see loads of people saved, bless loads of people, whatever else. But he's always like, Lord, do you want me to go here? Where do you want me to go? Yeah. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to speak on? And he's very, very conscious of that. And obviously you see what's happening, see what the Lord's doing in his church and whatever else. And it's amazing. And for us as believers, we've got to be those kind of people who can just fix our eyes on Jesus and just say, I will go where you want to go. Mm-hmm. So when someone says, oh, Eamon, you've got a book deal, mate, come this way, don't do it unless the Lord's saying, yeah, go on, go for it. And, ultimately, it's this humbling of yourself to kind of say, I'm going to throw my plan out the window, my strategy, my thoughts and my ideas out. Like sometimes they can be good and sometimes they can be of the Lord, of course. But if you've got to be prepared to kind of throw them all down, to kind of just say, Lord, I'm just going to follow you. I'm going to fix my eyes on you and I'm going to run the race that you've set out for me. And ultimately, I mean, I'm not going to say anything else because it links back into the rest of the stuff that we're going to that'll be part two. That'll be part two. But solid. That's
good. Let's end it there.
Let's end it there.
We'll keep going.
We'll be here for another hour.
100% keep going. But this is so good. This is really good. I'm glad that we're doing this like almost like deeper dive than the other ones.
Hopefully you've been blessed by what we've been said individually, but hopefully as a whole, I hope this kind of prompts you to go back into those cliche kind of verses or whatever you want to call it, those verses that can always become a bit numb. I hope you go back into those and try and just say, Lord, give me fresh vision, give me fresh eyes for what you're actually saying here, because ultimately, as you've seen here, there is so much that's packed into these verses. So
one of my favorite ones is one of the most misquoted ones, which is we went through it on Thursday.
Did.
His promises are yes, and through him we say our amen. that if you go and do a study on that if you've not done it,
and come back to us.
and it'll transform how you think about interacting with Jesus.
Yeah,
it's pretty awesome. Just saying.
Well,
the amount of autonomy that we have in the kingdom is insane. Yeah, honestly, like there are a lot of things that we're crying out to Jesus for.
Yeah,
and he has already said yes. And he's waiting for us to agree, but we're not agreeing. We're just crying out. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, I won't go into it.
Spoilers. Spoilers. I'm not going to do that. Maybe we'll do, Joe. After this, maybe we'll do this deep dive into that. We'll do another 3-part on that.
It's honestly one of my that's one of my tent pegs. Do you know what I mean?
Nice.
I love that part.
Well, yeah. If you do a study on that, let us know what you found because it'd be really interesting to see what happens. But yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, I guess we'll be doing a part 2 at some point.
We'll have to be doing it.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll let you know. But yeah, we'll be back. Are we back next week? Are we here next week?
We're not back next week.
We're not back next week. So we won't be here next week. Somebody else might be here next week.
Might be actually. Yeah.
We'll try and arrange someone to be here next week. We're going to the Lake District, by the way. We're going lakes?
We are going lakes.
We're both going to the lakes.
Yeah.
Not separately together.
The 4 of us.
Yeah. It'd be pretty weird if me and Anna were going to the lakes and you'd be going to the lakes at the same time, but not together. That'd be weird.
Yeah.
We're going together anyway to the lakes. We won't be here. We'll try and arrange someone else to come and speak because obviously that's good. But we will see you, I guess, in 2 weeks, same time, same place.
And let us know as well, like if you are going through this yourself, like this specific part, what other stuff sticks out to you? Because what I love about discussing the scripture is that different people will see different things.
Yeah.
And that's part of why we're told to speak about Jesus to each other.
Yeah.
Because you end up encouraging each other, and I'm super encouraged right now.
I'm super encouraged. I'm gassed.
Yeah, great.
I'm gassed. Well, yeah, we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.